Hello there, it's great to have you back on Coffee Gang. It's been like a splendid week, and of course, nose diving into the weekend, and it's Saturday. How's the Saturday been going? I hope you've gone out for one or two events. Whatever the case is, try to get over it. And of course, if you are in a joyful mood, relax in your chair, and we're about to take you on a journey of discussions with the ladies this evening. My name is Bola Bofimo School, and of course, it is Coffee Gang. I'm not alone on this table this evening, and with some young, beautiful mamas.
Always whining.
It's great to have you,
Good
ladies.
Evening. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
My name is Bisolo Bia.
Yeah, Bisola. What's the blinking of eyes? I was like, Bisola.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Olayemi Omojo is my name.
Okay, it's great to have you back on the program, and I think we are looking a lot refreshed. At least let's praise ourselves. We know we are mamas. We are Sisi mama.
Yes.
But somehow we are still representing.
Forever young.
Yeah, that song.
Yes, let's start off this way. I actually stumbled on this, and I'm sure you've actually seen the story of this young Sumto, and of course the bride, who is 16 years old. You know, there's something really baffling there. Education was taken out of the glare. The guy came, from the story that we read, that the guy came to the parent and said that he's tired of going to school at 16 and that he wants to get married. The question you want to ask yourself is it that this child has been practicing sex? What is the thing that wants him going into marriage? What is so special in marriage?
So
and he's saying that
exciting.
I do not want to go into the line of education any longer. And now you have the parents succumbing to that pressure and saying that, please, we will give you all the whole blessings for you to get married at 17. A child who is 17 under the law is deemed not to be matured enough to get married. You know, when you look at instances like this, what is the African society nose diving into? Are we going to be having a lot of young persons that are not educated, for instance? What is the future of our young persons? Imagine young persons having young persons. Then when is the training, where is the training going to come from? What is going to happen to the lives of our young persons in the society today? You know, it's a lot of questions. You know why I'm happy? Because we are all mothers. And imagine now, your young chap will now come to you at the age of 16 and say, Mommy, I want to get, I want to get married. Like,
You know.
how would you do such a thing like that?
A young
It's so
teenager.
funny. Yeah, someone who is not even up to 18, and of course is going to get married to a younger person. So who is going to be advising them? And secondly, his parent now decided to give him a shop to sustain both of them. You know, it's quite hilarious to start with, and it's coming from the southeast, Nnewi, and the rest of it. But what do we make out of all of this? It's really very hilarious, really.
Superwoman.
Okay, you're going to Superwoman now.
Like, when I saw the story, I kept thinking, like, is that the real story? Like, I can't imagine my son coming to me at the age of 16, telling me you want to drop out of school and get married. Why? Because you are in love with a girl. Like, education should be the first thing. Maybe the parents are illiterate or something, I don't know. But I know my son cannot tell me that. I can't even succumb to that kind of prayer.
Really.
That's just it.
Which doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Education comes first. To me, it's not even love. That's the mere infatuation. It's not love.
And now there are even adults who attended that traditional wedding, and it was well planned, like an adult wedding. You know, if you look at instances like this, it appears that the African society will say no to civilization. It's damaging us. It's making us look archaic. But really, if you look at what civilization has done to us, I think it's a blessing for so many of us.
True.
Because if you look at the line the parents are coming from, you can imagine the kind of environment the parents grew up from, their orientation in terms of looking at life. Because somebody who is well educated, somebody who is exposed, even if you do not go through the four walls of the education sector, if you have gone through vocational skills and you are well exposed, I don't think you will succumb to such
kind of
pressure.
and
I don't know what precedence
No.
it will be for the younger generation in our society,
True.
which I feel it doesn't really portend well. And I feel that there's a lot of issues still not so clear.
That is what I'm saying.
You know, in all
That's
of
the
this,
We
point.
don't know. We don't have the clear picture, the full
Exactly.
picture of.
That's only
the
what they
whole
told
thing.
us, but that's not the real
And
thing.
now this is what I'm also thinking. Maybe the parents feel that all that they need to sustain a marriage is money, because marriage itself is not about money. Because they feel that, well, we can get them a shop, we can, establish them
because they don't have any job.
Now,
so how did they now sustain?
I also feel that even if they have provided them with a source of livelihood, that is not all that matters in getting or in maintaining a home. Where is the place of maturity? Are they ready? Are they mentally ready to start that aspect of their lives? And I don't know. I'm also thinking that it's possible that the girl is pregnant. What if she's pregnant and then
they're not telling us that
the wives, the girl's parents decide that the only way we can
now.
Exactly, it's possible that she's pregnant. And they decide that the marriage must hold, so that their daughter is not embarrassed or put to shame or something, and the only way they want to establish that is for a traditional wedding
to actually go ahead
to take place. So that is what I'm thinking here. But whatever the case, there is no basis, there is no reason why somebody should be under pressure to start such a sensitive institution, man. I didn't know this where you feel like, I really wish I'm single. We're just talking about something before the show started.
Exactly.
I personally, sometimes, I just imagine that, I'm in a quiet place, no kids, no husband, no shenanigans and all of that. So somebody decides that at 17 or 18, I want to get married, man.
Well, I think it's something that, when you see a lot of young persons, there's this urge wanting to do what adult does because they see mommy and daddy. And of course, you have to put on the pancake face all the time because you know your responsibility as a parent.
Yeah.
So somebody who is not matured enough, doesn't have the enlightenment, doesn't even know what it takes to start a family, feels that, mommy and daddy does it. So I don't see any big deal in it. But I would also be looking at the parents now. I don't know what they are thinking. I don't know what they want to achieve. But the African society cannot be taken out of it. They believe this belief system that marriage thing has to stay. And of course the issue of childbearing is something very huge for the African society. But I feel that there should be this kind of patience, especially for the traditional society coming to East. I know the eastern part of the country, in a way, if you look at the missionary work, starts from them.
Yes.
So you will feel that religious-wise, they should even be much more aware
They should know
that somebody
better.
exactly coming from other part of the country. For somebody who is 16, getting married, it's like a baby. You're trying to get a baby. I can imagine when I was 16. You can imagine, and now at that age, you're supposed to be in school. Now you are now faced with a body of childbearing. And secondly, let's look at the reproductive health. Is this child ripe enough reproductive wise to now start taking in, to go through the pressure of pushing a child out or even oppression? So I feel that there are a lot of issues that the parents are actually not paying attention to when this has happened. But it's not enough for you to say that at the age of 16 you should go and get pregnant. I feel that I wouldn't say it's bad. It would be too quick to say bad parenting, because I know in some homes that the parents will really be good. They'll teach you all the values,
and the kids,
but you still have a black sheep
of the
that wouldn't want to listen because of peer pressure. I don't know what it is, but I feel that parents have a lot of responsibilities to carry out.
Exactly.
A 17-year-old boy saying he wants to get married, you're supporting him with a shop, meaning that as many as 17-year-olds could drop out of school and start a family. I don't think it portends well, and I don't think it's something that should be celebrated on social media where people will be commenting. I know people were like, what is the meaning of this? And why should a social media platform be fronting this? This shouldn't be celebrated in the first instance. And it comes down to also our NGOs. If you look at most of our NGOs in the society that we are today, it's not about getting international funds. Do they even go through the nooks and crannies?
Do they do proper sensitization?
Exactly, because how many of these people are aware? Sometimes some of them are not even aware of their puberty stage. Sometimes they don't even understand the changes that take over their bodies. At a point in time, a guy starts having wet dreams. He doesn't even understand what wet dreams are. And nobody explains to him that you are transcending from this age or being a young guy into a matured guy, and now you'll be having urges, which is normal for a child. But how does that child manage it? How much more do we have these NGOs going out to tell these young persons that, see, when your boobs start coming out, these are some of the things you experience. Nobody tells them. When you start menstruating, these are the kind of things you will see. Who tells them this? Exactly. In fact, sometimes I was actually looking at a lady's story who said she started having boobs at a very young age. And her parents, in the way her mother was like stigmatizing her. Oti Baje, how can you have this kind of big boobs at this age? Yes, you know, like it became an issue that, according to her story, she couldn't offer clothes, even if she goes to her friend's place, you know, to stay overnight or even go to she became too conscious. And again, when every of her mates will be bathing outside, you know, kids, she cannot. Because her mother has made her aware that she's spoilt for having a big boobs, and that she even called out the neighbor, come and see this child, oh, how come at your age? So the level of embarrassment, the level of decay that mother has caused in her, because the mother is also not aware of all of this. She doesn't understand. And now look at a child marriage. How much awareness do they have? So I don't know what is wrong with most of these NGOs when they come together and we are informative, we'll go to the grassroots, we'll get into
they're all after the money.
Really, how much
they're all after the
social media NGOs.
Exactly, like really, it's actually not encouraging. But really, how do we address all of these instances? To start with, let me go to Obiya. You're just doing it. I know you run one. I know you run one NGO.
What I know is this: it's not easy to cover. I mean, everywhere. You can cover everywhere.
But you can network.
You can network. Yeah, you can network. But primarily, it is also important that an NGO knows what its focus is. Now, again, this is usually this is one thing that is common. Most people or most NGOs working on advocacy or for reduction in child marriage, they usually concentrate on the northern part of the country. Not many people feel or think that such, social issues can come up in
any
the
part of the
southwest
country
or the southeast. As long as we think that, or we kind of tag or believe that the issues that an NGO, for instance, is addressing would only come from this area, or the problems that an NGO wants to address is only going to be targeted at this very community, then there is a problem. So when NGOs get to a point where they understand that, okay, even though it might be rampant here, it doesn't mean that, that doesn't mean that such issues or such events will not take place or come up in some other areas. I mean, for every rule, there's usually an exception. So that's what I think basically. And really, we can't blame most NGOs or non-profit organizations. You just talked about funding. How many NGOs really have funding, to go out there and do the work? It's actually easy to use your phone and, social media. You can manage what you have
on the social media,
promote what you're doing on the social media.
And how many of them even have access to social media?
Now, when it comes to getting real funds to get real projects done, it takes a lot of work, and usually most non-profit organizations do not have that much to really go out there. But now, when you already talked about networking, an NGO that is coming up or that has its focus area as let's say gender-based violence can actually work with other non-profit. That is where partnership or networking comes in place. So if you know that you can address all issues, you can work with other NGOs addressing similar issues.
And I think that it should be more of community based, because if you look at all of these instances,
they always work in Lagos.
Exactly,
they go to the local
in fact
places.
Even the Lagos, they have community based situations, because I know that during my days in secondary school, they used to have a program like Catch Them Young, and I know that when I was in SS1, I was already part of the NGO as a youth club, and of course there were a lot of issues discussed. Issues about your sensitization, issues about your upbringing, your puberty, things that even your mother sometimes cannot discuss openly with you. The NGOs are ready to talk about it, and they started from schools. And in a way, they created that awareness, making choices, understanding your body languages, how to say no. When you say no, it should be no, not no. Instances like that, breeding up those kids to understand that, their future, it's quite germane. But these days, what do we have? People running after money most times. And you look at the future of the generation that we are building, and you keep crying inside you that what is going to become of their future at the end of the day. Coming to you, Superwoman, you are more of an event person. But imagine that the society has degenerated to a situation where you can't even be boastful to say that you are a Nigerian, for instance, because of the kind of youths that we have. You are a young mom. It's not like you're an old woman like that, but you're still doing something very meaningful. If you look at the society that we are building, what is the future, especially for vocational skills? Like you are doing one, and of course you're excelling, you're looking good, you have a home and all of that. When you have instances like that, what is the future for the younger persons to actually take this line?
No, I think we are improving in Nigeria. Like the young generations, I can see most of them are into entrepreneurship now. Like they want to do
Yes,
more.
that's true.
So they are learning, they are improving now. So I think, I don't know, the future is bright.
And like somebody was even saying that when she went to the social media, she was thinking it's Balogun market because everybody was just advertising one product or the other.
They are still in school, but they're selling something. Okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's actually,
and I think that
there's
we
no
need to be
job.
more productive. Yeah,
it's good. So I think that will help us. Everybody wants to work before, want to be a medical doctor, want to be a lawyer, want to be this, want to be that. But now we are changing the narrative. Like they want to do other
we hope
things.
that we sustain it, and I feel that child marriage.
Sustainability is key.
Exactly.
And not just activity, productivity.
Exactly.
You're right.
And again, this child marriage thing, I know there are 3 young persons who came together. They are very young. I think about 15, 14, thereabout, and came up with a concept where a number of people have to sign through a website against child marriage, and they feel that it's
like
not
a
something
petition.
Not encouraging. They needed more signatures to actually support it, and I feel that the awareness should go round. There's nothing good about child marriage. People should be, young person should be allowed to go through the 4 walls. They don't even understand. The young boy doesn't even understand what it is to start a family. He might be having the let's say the pleasure, this youthful exuberance of saying yes, I want to do this exactly at this point in time, but he doesn't understand what the future holds for him. And I feel that beyond the parents, the teachers too have a lot of work to do.
17.
In fact, even non-governmental organizations, it's better you go to schools. That's where you catch them. Even if their parents are not aware too much, at least the schools can start, the NGOs can start from schools and start getting them, catch them young fever. Okay, we have to move on. Let's look at this issue of Kanye West. I know Kanye West is somebody who has been singing the secular music, and of course a lot of people knows him as a rapper. But all of a sudden he has turned around and now he has become religious, now preaching. And of course somebody was even online, celebrities were making jest of Kim, saying that imagine Kim becoming Mommy Jew all of a sudden, and quite interesting time. But there's something Leke Adeboye said, which is quite germane, and I think it's something we need to hold very critical. He said that if you go to Google now, the name of Jesus appears to be the most searched since Kanye West converted into Christianity. You know, if you look at all of these instances, and he has said keep praying for him so that he does not deviate. You know, that point of fear now, and he said he was trying to get across open heavens or something to him. You know, okay, that open heavens is something that Bisola has an issue.
Leave open heavens.
Okay, let's start from there. What is that thing that you have against open heavens?
Hey, I'm a redeemer. No, the thing is, I don't have anything against the open heaven.
Okay.
But why must really? Why would he mention or categorically say that let us get the open heaven across to him?
It doesn't mean anything.
No, that is what he has access to.
Exactly.
That's just it. Seriously. That's just it.
So now, are there no other devotionals, or he can probably
Does
say
it change anything?
no,
He's
really,
a
now
beginner.
let me also say this.
Yeah.
The devotional really will not really do much.
Okay.
I mean, in helping this, in making sure that Kanye West remains godly.
It's just his own contribution.
It is a contribution, but I'm just saying that we are in a country, or well, when things like this come up on the social media, definitely there is no crime when there are divided opinions. And for me, I feel that yes, it's a good thing that he has offered to do that, but my point is there are other I mean, it doesn't really have to be open heaven.
I think Bisola is just being sensitive because really
I'm
doesn't
looking at
matter.
the word
Like
that
what
open
Superwoman
heaven.
said, it's
Why would
something
you recommend the open heaven?
because it's from this church. Exactly.
No, I'm a redeemed person. I am not against the open heaven, nor am I against the person who has offered to give the
So
open
you would have
heaven.
expected him
I'm
to say
just saying-
Bible.
He could have said Bible, he could
But
have
can
said
your wife have
devotional.
access
He could, yes, but
to
now
Bible?
there are many devotionals that he can easily get access to. Why would he specifically say that? We need somebody.
So you are saying that it's politicized?
Yeah, no.
So actually, there costs
What comes to your mind
membership.
when you heard the name Adeboye? Redeem.
I don't
Yes.
think of the open heaven. I think of the Redeemed Christian Church of God.
But that is what they use. So that is what he can give.
Now, let me say this. Don't get me wrong. The Open Heaven is I use one. It's a wonderful devotional manual. But I'm just saying, why the specification of we need somebody to help us get across to him so we can get the Open Heaven across to him.
I mean, I
think
the
it's
Rhapsody
more
of
than-
Reality.
So
It could have been anyone.
too and say, I want to give him this.
Well, have we
that
seen
doesn't change anything.
the other churches, or have there been other tweets where people say let's get so and so across to him?
No, he has
Now,
said that. I think
this.
it's actually
let me say
promptness.
this. Let me
Okay.
say this. The issue is not for him to get a devotional. The most important thing that he has put in front is the prayer part. I think that is all that matters.
This is like just too sensitive
No.
because I feel
There's nothing wrong with what he did.
In
There's
fact,
nothing wrong.
absolutely
Okay,
nothing
I don't
wrong.
hear.
I think
Yeah.
what he's trying to say is that, and he's trying to give it some depth, that I'm from the Redeemed Christian
And this
Church
is what
of
I
God.
use.
And of course, this is what I use, and
That's
this is
been
what
helping me.
has been keeping me
That's just-
spiritual.
yes, that is all.
So I feel that this could also
So
work
the
for Kanye West.
spirituality is dependent on that
No,
matter.
that's his own belief and that's his own church.
Now, we are-
somebody
we are-
coming from.
okay.
Let's not look as if we are spiting within Christian Church of
Okay.
God. There are a lot of churches, cathedrals, and of course charismatic churches. But the thing is that this is where Leke Adeboye goes to, and of course it's from the Redeemed Church, and he feels that this is a devotion that he's been reading, devotional book.
Yes.
He's been reading for a very long time, and this has been helpful in terms of his spiritual lifestyle. And he feels that if a Kanye have access to it, it could also help him. And I feel it's nothing bad,
Okay,
even though
I
you're
agree.
thinking it's political. I agree. It's your friend, actually.
But really, well,
Okay.
all good.
But it's actually a good thing. Like I'm proud of him. Like,
Really? Oh,
yeah. Like in the Bible, that was what happened to Saul before changing his name to Paul. You understand? So his story is just what I noticed about Kanye West is just I can say God called him. Like
Really?
for him to just wake up one day and say, okay, this is what I want to do.
After living that kind of very
understand?
free lifestyle for a very
And he
long
said, God
time.
don't call the
The righteous, or he doesn't call the
that
qualified,
is
he
just it.
qualifies
Doesn't call
the
them.
called.
You
and
understand? That's just it. So
Okay.
Well, let's just keep, let's keep.
God is a God of awesome wonders. You
Now,
know?
Really?
what I'm also looking at is
It's actually a Saturday, so it won't look like as if we're preaching. We're talking
it's
about
also important
yeah.
to just keep following the trend. Let's know what happens next, and that place of fear of praying for him. If God has called him, and it is certain that he's going to be this way, nothing will change him from.
We hope
Let's keep praying
so,
for him.
because sometimes Satan doesn't come with anything
Yes, you
good.
understand.
It comes with deceit, and it takes a strong heart. Let's also remember the trials of Jesus. At a point in time, he said, "If you're a true son of God, jump from this hill down." And of course, if you're a true son of God,
Yeah, challenges would
exactly
come. Yeah.
change this particular stone into bread. So obviously, what Leke Adeboye said is actually on point, meaning that
Yes.
there must be some kind of
That
people
is the
praying
part
for
I
him.
want us to emphasize.
Okay, the
so I
prayer
actually
aspect.
want us to de-emphasize the place of getting, everybody is focusing, most people are focusing on the manual, getting
Okay.
across to him.
No,
But more
really.
than that, I think that
It's just beyond that manual. He said something before that manual.
Yes,
he said
that is the
prayers.
part that I feel that people should focus on.
Okay.
If we let this conversation, if we ask other people about what we're talking about here regarding the same issue, I'm sure many people probably paid attention to the second part of that tweet.
The
that
devotion,
before.
right.
Yes, that is what I'm just trying to say.
I think the aspect where people will pay attention to is the fact that he said, if I can get anyone that can tell me how.
Yeah, that is why I'm
getting
saying that.
this.
Why don't we focus
But don't you
on
sense a relationship too? Maybe Leke Adeboye is trying to make a relationship,
understand.
trying to get a contact so
Relationship.
that
No, that's just-
they could
yeah, you
maintain a talking contact.
I don't hear.
So that they can be prayer partners.
Moving on.
Moving on.
I'll probably do
Moving ahead.
Collaborative work for the kingdom.
Now I get retired because this one is taking it somewhere else. Maybe they want to be prayer partners.
Yes.
Move on with the ministry, ensure that the ministry gets to the nooks and crannies of
Come on,
America. You can imagine him going to a prison and people get crying, and changing their lifestyle. And
I saw that.
Hallelujah! You're feeling Sunday from Saturday.
So please go to church.
Really? Before we go, there's this thing about creating groups on social media.
Okay.
And of course, sometimes you find out that there are some groups that, they are close group, they have a particular ideology, but people will still deviate. You can imagine something that is a very serious group. Somebody will just post something, and at the end of the day say, sorry, it's not meant for that group. Does the social media really work like that? If you look at the concept of the social media, it will still show you an arrow whether you want to post it or not. And of course, before you can send something to somewhere, you still need to go to that particular platform before you send. But really, what's the idea of actually creating groups on social media? You are into it now.
In my mind, I've been like, oh, yes, shoot, let me hear you.
Seriously, I think it's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
To an extent. Actually, a good networking, business-wise, like you get to meet a lot of people that can help you. The groups are really helping. Some of the groups, people will post what you don't want to read. They will tell you it's a mistake. They are not making any mistake. They know what they are doing. That's just it. So in everything, you see good people, you see bad people. So I think you just choose what you want to. Okay, maybe you want to follow the good one or the bad one. That is
You
just
see everything.
You understand?
Test every spirit.
Well, you are more or less like a lecturer, English lecturer.
Yes,
So when you create the group, what is it for?
Now I would say that have made more money training students online than virtually than in a live class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I've made more money.
So people need to understand that the social media is actually not for trolls,
not
only.
just for the
And actually
shenanigans.
make your money on it.
You
So
can people make a lot of money.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a guy that I recently got in touch with. He's supposed to help and do a Google Skills session for a program we're having in December. And then the guy told me that most of the money, Google pays him for training people on Google Skills.
Wow.
I mean, how to use digital skills to promote your business and all of that. He does lot of training online and is making lot of money.
Whatever platform you're joining, make sure it's the right thing before releasing your information.
Yes.
Because when they get access to it, they can get access to so many things. I hope we've not been able to bore you. That would been very informative at the end of the day. And of course, you're having a jolly ride evening itself.
Yes.
We just have to peg it here on Coffee Gang. My name is Bolabo Famous Cole. And of course, please like us on Facebook. That is Coffee Gang fan page. And from here, it's a bye.
Thank you so much for having us. It's Bisolo Bia here and
Online, you're most welcome. See you next week.
Bye.